Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Goldstein with NewYorkInsuranceShopper.com, and thank you for joining me on my weekly webcast regarding relevant insurance topics. Today, what I'd like to speak about is cooperative insurance. Cooperative insurance is a type of policy that many people feel as if is not necessary due to the fact that it is a supplemental policy. A lot of times these policies are referred to as HO6 policy forms, and what they do is they cover anything from the walls in an individual unit. Now, most cooperatives and condominiums, especially in a metropolitan area such as New York City, have a master policy within the building. The master policy is going to cover the walls, the floors, and the first layer of paint of each individual unit in that building. And because of this master insurance policy, the tenants or the unit holders believe that it's not necessary to have their own insurance. This is a big misconception, because what happens is, in the event of a loss, only the physical structure of that particular unit that was pre-built before the unit holder moved in would be covered under the master policy. So other things like hardwood floor, tile, wallpaper, appliances, door locks, moldings, those are things that would not be covered in the event of a loss. So for instance, let's just say, God forbid, the building that you live in or the unit that you live in had a fire and the whole building burnt down to the ground, and you did not have one of these insurance policies. Basically what is going to happen is the master policy that we just spoke about, which by the way is paid for through the maintenance of each individual that lives inside the building. Again, the master policy would replace the walls, the floors, and the first layer of paint. So just the shell of your specific unit, and that's it. So if you don't have one of these policies, nothing's going to be covered as far as structurally. Like I said, the hardwood floor, the tile, the moldings, the doorknobs, any of that stuff. Now, another thing that you want to think about is the contents. What about your clothing, your furniture, your televisions, your computers? All that stuff, that's not covered either under the master policy. That would be covered under the condo or cooperative insurance policy, the HO6 that we're speaking about. The last thing I want to talk about is the liability coverage that would be covered under one of these personal policies. The master policy does not account for liability for each individual unit holder. So, let's talk about it. What happens if you invite me over your house? I slip, I fall, I hurt myself, and I'm injured and I need to go to the hospital. Who's going to pay for that? I'm not paying for it because you're responsible that I got hurt. You left your floor wet. You left a banana peel on the ground, whatever it may be. So, I'm going to bring a lawsuit against you. And in order to pay that lawsuit, hopefully you'll have the condo or co-op insurance policy, because that would cover liability in that particular, on that policy. And that would pay my medical bills. Okay. Another more common example is the water leak example. The most common types of claims that you would see, especially here in New York City, our metropolitan area, is water claims. And what do I mean by this? A lot of times in buildings, they'll do a monthly, quarterly, biannual cleaning of the master water tank in the building. And when they do that, some people will turn the water on and forget to turn it off, and because they turn off the master valve, it looks like the water is off. After the tank is done being cleaned, they'll turn on the master water valve again. And because they left open their specific water valve in their unit, the water will start running and it could overflow. If it overflows and you damage a unit beneath you, you are liable. You were negligent for leaving your faucet on. So again, what happens? What's going to happen? You have a unit holder beneath you who has damaged personal property, damaged building property, meaning they're, like we just talked about, the walls, the floors, whatever it may be. If you don't have the cash in your pocket to pay that out, hopefully you'll have an insurance policy, because the liability section would cover it. So that's basically the topic or conversation today, and I think just by this brief conversation we just had, you can see the importance of having a condo or cooperative insurance policy, otherwise known as an HO6 or Walls In policy. A great place to find a quote on one of these types of policies is our website. If you go to our website, which is www.nyinsuranshopper.com, that's all one word, what you can do is input your personal information, email address, the address in which you live at, and the specific type of coverages that you're looking for on one of these types of policies. And all the different types of coverages that we just mentioned and some additional ones would be mentioned or explained on this particular website. Once the information is inputted, it takes about a matter of minutes, and New York Insurance Shopper will guarantee you at least 5 quotes, and whatever quote is the most competitive quote for your particular coverage level and where you live will be presented to you. So basically what the site does is takes the entire shopping out of the equation. It's very easy to use, and like I said, within minutes you'll have a quote at your fingertips. So again, my name is David Goldstein with NewYorkInsuranceShopper.com, and please remember the importance of having an HO6 condo co-op insurance policy. And if you don't have one already, go to our site and get a quote. It'll probably run you dollars a day, maybe $1 to $2 a day to have one of these policies in force. Okay? So go to our site, get a quote, and make sure you're insured. Thank you so much for the webcast.